Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into Microsoft
Oh, yeah.
to see if it could be a good fit for your portfolio. We've got a lot of intel lined up for you guys today.
Yeah.
We've got financial reports, we've got market analysis,
Sounds good.
and we're even going to peek into Wikipedia
Interesting.
to uncover some of the controversies around this company.
All right, I'm ready.
So you're ready to get started?
Absolutely. It's fascinating how Microsoft transformed from a desktop software company to this tech giant.
I know.
It's amazing.
And speaking of giants,
Yeah.
their financial performance
It's
is
impressive.
it's really something else.
Yeah.
In 2023 alone, they brought in $211 billion in revenue.
Wow.
That's more than the GDP of many countries.
It is, yeah.
And they had a net income of $72.3 billion.
Okay.
And their assets are worth a staggering $411 billion.
Huge.
So what does all of this tell you about Microsoft's financial stability?
Well, I think for the average investor out there, what that means is that this is a company with deep pockets and consistent profitability.
Right.
They've built a solid financial foundation.
Yeah.
Which is a good sign for anyone looking to invest.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely a reassuring starting point.
I think so.
Now, where do they stand in the overall tech landscape?
Well, as of December 2024, Microsoft is the world's third most valuable company.
Wow.
With a market cap of $3.148 trillion.
Trillion.
Yeah, they're still dominant in the PC market,
Right.
but they are facing growing competition in smartphones and cloud computing.
Right. So that brings us to their innovation pipeline.
Yeah.
Can they keep up in such a fast-paced industry?
Well, under CEO Satya Nadella,
Yeah.
they've made a significant shift towards cloud computing with Azure.
Wow.
And they've also been investing heavily in AI. They even secured an exclusive license to use OpenAI's GPT-3 language generator.
Oh, wow.
So that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that is huge. It's almost like the company that brought us Windows is now at the forefront of cutting-edge AI.
That's right.
That's a pretty impressive evolution.
It is.
But is their stock actually a good buy right now?
Well, to figure that out, we have to look at their valuation.
Okay.
Morningstar gives Microsoft a wide moat rating,
Interesting.
meaning they believe Microsoft has a durable competitive advantage.
Okay, so for someone like me,
Yeah.
what's that actually look like?
Think of their operating system, Windows.
Uh-huh.
It's so deeply ingrained in our world
Right.
that it would be really hard for a competitor to come in and just take over.
Okay.
That's part of their durable competitive advantage.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But they also haven't been shy about making acquisitions.
That's true.
They spent $68.7 billion to acquire Activision Blizzard,
A lot of money.
making them the third largest gaming company globally.
Globally.
And then there's the $16 billion acquisition of Nuance Communications,
Yeah.
an AI and speech recognition company. What do you make of these big moves?
Well, I think it raises an important question for you, the listener.
Yeah.
Do these acquisitions diversify Microsoft's portfolio, or is the company just overspending?
Right.
It's something you want to consider when you're thinking about Microsoft.
Yeah.
But to really understand their overall strategy,
Okay.
I think we need to look at their services business.
Right, because it's not just one-time software purchases anymore.
Right. They're not just selling software.
They've been shifting to subscription models,
Exactly.
like Microsoft 365.
This shift to recurring subscriptions is creating a more reliable and consistent revenue stream.
Oh.
It's a model that a lot of tech companies are using now.
Makes sense.
And it seems to be working well for Microsoft.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind when evaluating their long-term prospects.
Absolutely.
But what about their impact beyond just tech?
Okay.
How does Microsoft fare when it comes to economic impact?
Well, they employ over 228,000 people globally, so they're a significant contributor to the job market.
Okay,
They've also set an ambitious goal to be carbon negative by 2030.
that's a good goal.
Which is commendable, but
Okay.
there is some criticism around their energy consumption,
Right.
which is actually greater than that of several countries.
So it's a bit of a mixed bag on the environmental front.
It is.
And what about regulatory and other risks?
Okay.
Are there any red flags investors should be aware of?
Well, there's an ongoing EU antitrust investigation
Uh-oh.
related to the bundling of Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
And there was also a security breach in January 2024 involving Russian hackers.
Oh, wow.
These incidents highlight that even a company like Microsoft isn't immune to regulatory scrutiny and cybersecurity threats.
Right, those are definitely important factors to consider.
For sure.
Now let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about dividends.
That sounds good.
Is Microsoft a good option for income-focused investors?
Well, they've been paying dividends since 2003 and have steadily increased them over the years. This consistent track record makes them appealing to investors looking for both financial stability and a potential income stream.
So it's not a bad choice if you're looking for a little bit of both.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, and what about share buybacks?
Right.
Have they been repurchasing their own stock?
As of early 2024, major investment firms like the Vanguard Group and BlackRock
Oh, yeah?
hold significant portions of Microsoft stock.
So what does that tell us?
Well, these buybacks can boost share prices and benefit existing shareholders.
So it seems like even the big players are confident in Microsoft's future.
It seems that way.
But how does Microsoft stack up when it comes to ESG factors?
Okay.
Environmental, social, and governance.
It's a complex picture.
Okay.
We've already touched on their environmental efforts and the criticisms surrounding energy consumption.
Right.
On the social side, they've made commitments to diversity and inclusion,
Okay.
but they've also faced criticism in these areas.
So it's a bit of a mixed bag. They also have a philanthropic arm, Microsoft Philanthropies,
Yes,
which focuses on digital inclusion and global issues.
that's right.
So there's a lot to unpack there.
Definitely.
It's not a simple yes or no answer,
No.
but I'm curious, what are your thoughts on their potential role in the metaverse? We talked about their gaming acquisitions earlier,
Yeah.
and they're clearly investing in AI.
Uh,
Do you see those investments converging in the metaverse?
that's a really interesting question.
It is.
It does seem like they're strategically positioning themselves to be a major player
Okay.
in whatever the metaverse evolves into.
Right.
After all, they are combining the immersive world of gaming with their AI capabilities.
Makes sense.
It's definitely something to watch closely.
It really is. It's mind-boggling to think about the possibilities, isn't it?
It is.
Imagine a world where work, play, and social interaction
Yeah.
all converge in a virtual space
Wow.
powered by Microsoft technology.
It's a bold vision for the future, and while it's still early days, their investment suggests they're betting big on the metaverse.
They are.
Yeah.
So what does all of this mean for the average investor out there?
Well, it means that Microsoft is much more than just a software company.
Right.
They're a tech powerhouse with a diverse portfolio.
Yeah.
That includes cloud computing, gaming, AI, and potentially the metaverse.
Wow.
And this diversification can be appealing for investors
Yeah.
looking for exposure to multiple growth areas within the tech sector.
Uh-huh.
But remember, diversification doesn't guarantee success.
Right. It all comes down to whether their strategy
Yes.
aligns with your investment goal
Exactly.
and your risk tolerance.
Yeah.
So you need to consider their financials,
Uh-huh.
their market position, their innovation pipeline,
Yeah.
and of course, the potential risks.
Right.
This deep dive has given you a lot to think about, but
It has.
it's important to do your own research
Yes.
and make sure that Microsoft is the right fit for your specific needs.
Absolutely.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Hashtag TTS The Deep Dive, episode 2024-1130, part 2 of 3. It is, it's a lot to consider, for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of considerations,
Yeah.
we haven't really talked about like the ethical side
Oh, okay.
of investing in a company like Microsoft.
Right. That's a really important aspect, I think, that a lot of investors are, considering these days.
For sure.
It's not just about the financial return.
Okay.
It's also about aligning your investments with your values.
Right. So how does Microsoft fare on that front?
Well, we did talk a little bit about their environmental initiatives and some of the criticisms they faced
Right.
regarding energy consumption.
Right.
It's a really complex issue
Yeah.
with no easy answers.
For sure.
On the social side, they've made some commitments to diversity and inclusion,
Okay.
but their track record has been questioned.
By some, yeah.
Yeah, by some. So it's really important for you as an investor
Right.
to do your own research and see if their actions align with your ethical standards.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's not just about checking boxes.
It's not
It's about really understanding their commitment.
a commitment to ESG principles.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up, I want to circle back
Okay.
to something we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
which was their dividend policy.
Okay.
Can you explain for maybe some newer investors out there
Yeah.
why that consistent dividend history
Uh-huh.
could be attractive?
For sure, for some investors, dividends can provide a steady stream of passive income,
Okay.
like getting a little bonus for holding the stock.
Right.
And when a company like Microsoft has a history of steadily increasing its dividend payouts.
Yeah.
It can be a sign of financial stability
Right.
and confidence in its future earnings.
It's almost like a little reward for being a loyal shareholder.
It is, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it can be really appealing to investors who are looking to supplement their income or build wealth over the long term.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have...
From Microsoft's impressive financials to their, ambitious forays into AI and the metaverse.
Yeah.
We've even explored the complexities of ESG factors.
Yeah.
And the importance of ethical investing.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, I think the question remains,
Yeah.
is Microsoft a good fit for your portfolio?
Well, we've talked about it a lot.
We have.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Right.
It really depends on your individual goals, your risk tolerance, and even your ethical considerations.
Right, and we can't tell you that.
We can't.
You have to figure that out yourself.
You do, yeah.
But hopefully this deep dive has provided you with some valuable insights.
That's sure.
And a framework for evaluating Microsoft as a potential investment.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we gave our listeners a lot to chew on.
We did.
But before we sign off, I
Yeah.
want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
We've talked about their wide moat,
Yes.
this durable competitive advantage. But what if that moat isn't as wide as we think it is?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Right, because the tech landscape
Yes, it's constantly evolving.
is evolving, new technologies emerging,
New consumer preferences,
consumer preferences shifting.
disruptors can appear out of nowhere.
That's true.
Yeah,
So while Microsoft's position seems strong,
it does.
it's crucial to stay informed and keep an eye on things,
Absolutely. Yeah, complacency can be dangerous,
especially in this industry.
even for a company as big as Microsoft.
Right. So as you continue your research on Microsoft,
Yeah.
don't just focus on the positives.
Okay.
Challenge your assumptions.
Challenge those assumptions.
Think about the alternative viewpoints
Yes.
and, try to anticipate what the future might hold.
Try to see the future.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask tough questions
No. Good advice.
because investing is about making informed decisions.
Inform a decision.
And that requires critical thinking
it does.
and a healthy dose of skepticism.
Ab-
Well said. Hashtag TTS, the Deep Dive episode 2024-1130, part 3 of 3. So we made it.
We did.
We've explored Microsoft
Yeah.
from its financial strengths
Uh-huh.
to, its potential role in the metaverse.
Right. It's exciting stuff.
We talked about gaming, ESG factors,
A lot.
and, the potential for disruption.
Always a factor.
Always a factor in this industry.
Especially tech. Yeah.
So hopefully
Yeah.
you, the listener,
Uh-huh.
have a clearer picture now
Yeah, a little more informed.
of this company.
Yeah, a bit more about Microsoft.
We gave you a lot to think about.
We did. We did.
And that's really what we aim to do, right?
I think so.
It's just to help you guys make informed decisions
Yeah.
about your investments.
Absolutely. Give you guys the tools to make good choices.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
But it's also important to remember
Yeah.
that investing isn't just about,
Mm-hmm.
numbers and data.
Charts and graphs.
It's also about understanding the stories.
Yeah. The why.
Why behind those numbers.
The story.
Exactly.
Yeah. Every company have a story.
They do.
A journey of how they got to where they are.
Uh-huh.
And I think understanding that story can give you a much deeper appreciation for the company.
Right. And with a company like Microsoft,
Uh-huh.
that story is filled with innovation, disruption,
Yeah.
and just this relentless pursuit of growth.
I mean, they really have been at the forefront
They have.
of the tech industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as you continue your research
Yeah.
on Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
and think about whether it's right for your portfolio,
Right.
just remember to keep an eye on that story.
Keep learning.
Yeah, pay attention to their strategic moves, their acquisitions, their response to emerging technologies,
The future of tech?
and, their commitment to addressing these ESG concerns.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
Important.
And most importantly,
Yeah.
trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right.
Or you have unanswered questions.
Right.
Don't be afraid to dig deeper.
Ask those questions.
Ask those questions.
Or talk to a financial advisor.
Exactly.
Right. Don't be shy.
Investing is a personal journey.
It is.
There's no shame in getting help along the way.
Absolutely not.
I think that's some really good advice.
Thank you.
And with that, I think we've reached the end
The end.
of our deep dive into Microsoft.
It's been fun.
It has been fun. I always enjoy these conversations.
Me too.
And I especially love how we can bring these complex topics to life.
Yeah.
for our listener.
Make it understandable.
So if you enjoyed this deep dive,
Yeah.
be sure to subscribe to the deep dive
Uh-huh.
and, join our community
Yeah.
of curious minds and savvy investors.
We'd love to have you.
We'd love to have you. We'll keep you informed and
Informed.
entertained with, these insightful discussions
Yeah.
on a wide range of companies
All sorts of companies.
and market trends.
All the trends.
So we'll see you next time for another exciting deep dive.
I can't wait.
Until then, happy investing.